This is Rock Talk with Mitch LaFon. Mitch LaFon.
Welcome to this episode of Rock Talk with Mitch LaFon. And joining me on this, European-flavored edition, it is from Gotthard and CoreLeoni guitarist Leoni. And, you know, I do my best to promote and plug some of the European bands that maybe some of us in North America haven't heard of. You know, when you talk about hard rock in North America, a lot of folks are like, well, you know, the scene is dead, other than the heritage acts, which of course we all love. But, you know, you have Dirty Honey, you've got Joyous Wolf, you've got Greta Van Fleet, but they sort of represent a newer kind of hard rock, not the sort of classic sound that some of us love and are used to and enjoy. But in Europe, they are pumping out some of the greatest hard rock today. You look at Gotthard, you look at CoreLeoni, my personal favorite, Thunder, of course, but I'm going to name a few bands here that have had new albums doing well. You've got the Defiance. Well, actually, that's more of an American band, but Crash Diet has a new album out. Absolutely stunning. Pink Cream 69 has been around for many, many years. Pretty Maids have been along for many, many years. These are bands that I definitely recommend that you check out. From, I believe, Sweden, we've got Heat, so it's H.E.A.T. But vibrant young band. It's got an American, sorry, not an American Idol, but a Swedish Idol contestant as the lead singer. Some great melodic hard rock right there. You've got, of course, Hardcore Superstar, Electric Boys, you know, Hips, Lips, the whole thing. They are more than just that. The band is vibrant, out there, playing. New material available. Definitely worth checking out. Crazy Licks as well. A lot of fun there with Crazy Licks. And a personal favorite, Eclipse. New album, new stuff. So a lot of bands out there making waves. And if you look at some of the vibrant older acts, or you know, Europe is still out there. Europe is still touring. They will be in North America in 2020. There's a package tour coming this way that will start in July. 3 bands. Not going to say more. Europe is going to be one of those bands, but shh. Top secret news. But they will be here. We've got the Black Star Riders, which is a bit of a hard one to qualify. They have some American members. They have some European members. They don't really play in the States. They usually tour and play in the UK. New album, Another State of Grace, phenomenal. Actually went to #1 on the official UK rock and metal album charts this week, actually. So a lot of great music out there. And anyway, I'm gonna keep pimping my bands. So we're gonna start off with Leoni. And when you look back in the history of rock at 2 of the most, I don't even know. Anyway, when you look back at influential and important singers and guitarists, the guys in Gotthard don't get their due. Original singer Steve Lee, who passed away in a tragic accident, his vocals are pristine. I mean, you listen to those early Gotthard records and you hear Steve singing, it's just like, wow, voice of an angel. And Leoni, I mean, you know, people will say, well, Zakk Wylde is one of the... Leo rips just as good as Zakk. And that's no disparagement or that's not a negative comment against Zakk. I mean, they're both great, and I'm glad that we have both of them. But he's in that same breath. I mean, some of the solos and some of the sounds he gets, Leo, just terrific. I mean, absolutely terrific. So we've got CoreLeoni, which is Leo and Ronnie Romero, who is currently in Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. They get together. They make CoreLeoni Greatest Hits Volume 1, which they retake some of the old Gotthard songs, dust them up, and give them a fresh coat of paint. This time around, they do the same thing. What they do is they take sometimes some of the lesser-known songs or some of the more hard rock songs, and they just, you know, they're already on 10 or on 11, so they crank them to 12, you know. They add a little extra little oomph, a little extra muscle to them. So without further ado, part of my love for European hard rock and metal, which stretches beyond, the Ghosts and the Europes and the Def Leopards and the Scorpions. Here is from Gotthard CoreLeoni, guitarist extraordinaire, Leo Leoni. We are speaking with guitarist Leo Leoni, of course, plays with Gotthard and CoreLeoni. And we're going to talk about... Yeah, so let's talk about the new CoreLeoni 2 album. So, first question, of course, is when you did the first one, you called it the Greatest Hits, and it was sort of a way to just polish up or give a 2017-18 update of those songs. What was it about that you said, hey, you know what? We're going to do it again. Yeah.
Good. The fact is it's a similar thing, but instead of giving a touch of 2017-18, it was maybe about that too. 2019-20. It's 2 years later we recorded. And we, with CoreLeoni, we went out on tour, and then we decided to go on, and I think the tour was very good, and as I said, we decided to go on and put up some more other songs in a new record. And the first idea to call the record was the Greatest Two Hits, but the record company said a little bit too rude. And that's why we went for CoreLeoni 2 instead.
Yeah, so just quickly talk to me about going out on tour, because it's not just a vanity project where you're covering Gotthard songs. This is a band, and you're out on tour, and you're making new products. So talk to me about sort of what is the future for this? Is this 1, 2, merci, bonsoir, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Well, I don't know about the 3, 4, 5. I mean, I always try to do things and try to make something like a follow-up. You start things and then you look the way it goes, and so far so good. So as I said, we record this first record, and then we went out on tour and see what was the reaction from the fans, the new fans, the old fans, which they used to listen the old concert from Gotthard, or the early days Gotthard fans, and the reaction was great. And then night by night, the band became stronger and stronger, and we got a big motivation to go on, as I said. So this project became a band. This band, let's see where this band is gonna what's gonna reach. So far, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of motivation to go on, and it's great. We're having fun. We have a great time every night out there, and what is going to happen in the future is we will see. We are here to go out and have fun and make this rock and roll circus go on tour again and again and again and again. How far it's going to last, I don't know. As long as there's some guitars and some Marshalls out there, just for sure there's stages where we could go up and play, and we're going to go on for.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. The first album, Greatest Hits Part 1, started off with Il Padrino. This one, you start off with Waltz Number 2. Talk to me about having sort of those preludes to the big Marshalls, the sort of different introduction to the albums. Is that something that if you do a third and fourth album, you want to continue, or is it just sort of a cute idea for the first two albums? And
no, I think actually there is the thing is, first of all, there's great melodies. Of course, there's the CoreLeoni things, which have nothing to do with the mafia, but the Godfather, and. So, but there's great melody. We come up with this idea, which is CoreLeoni double meaning. It's the core, and Leon is my name, which was my project. But of course, this how we call it, double meaning things also the Godfather movie, El Padrino. And it's going to be Godfather 1, Godfather 2, and we'll see if it's going to be Godfather 3. And it's interesting because those great melodies, you have always remembered those great melodies from the movies. And this Valsa number 2 in the Greatest Hits Part 2, or number 2, is this Kostakovich melody is people remember it into a mafia movie, or whatever you want to call it, but in fact it's not. And somehow it fits the record, it's just the movie goes on, let's put it that way. And as I said, it's the record, and I would think that every record is supposed to be like a movie. So this movie is the part 2 of the movie, or the trilogy, or the I don't know. It's called phorology. I don't know how we call that, but that's the whole thing, And just like it takes you to the next movie. And the next movie, in this case, is number 2, which starts with Kostakovich Waltz number 2, and end up with the Padrino, with the Godfather.
Yeah, it does.
At the end.
So let's talk.
And actually, the whole idea is like this violin player is like supposed to be the kid. If you remember the Greatest Hits Part 1, there was this kid singing Fire, right? Which was Ronnie Kid. Which Oliver, in this case, is the guy who's playing. In this movie, is the guy who's playing the violin, and all of a sudden it was like, really? No fire dance?
Yeah.
So that's the whole story. It's kind of take it as a movie. You can close your eyes and say, this is what we want to do. It's just funny things, great melody and things.
Yeah, it is great melody. So let me ask you about this then. The band has been playing some of the more rock songs of Gotthard. The current band with Nick, I've been following for many years. When you go on tour, you seem to have a certain focus, or the new albums like Silver have a certain focus on power ballads or the softer side. Is that something that Gotthard has become more of a sort of a softer ballady thing, and this is your way to say, hey, I'm still going to plug in and I'm still going to be loud and obnoxious? Right?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not really like this. But I think, in fact, this is a thing that happened already back then when, when Steve was still alive, and when we did a Defrosted One, which was the album number 4,
yep,
which was an acoustic record, and then we got Open, which was the follow-up record. Then we started to go more mainstream, more poppy, and this was like where I started to get a little bit of issues with the band, because I said I still want to do on my Les Paul with my Marshall and crank it up and just make rock and rolls. And actually, there's a movie which shows that. There's a movie out there which is called One Life, One Soul, and telling some stories, right?
Yeah.
And it's a documentary movie. And but then, Gotthard went on, and we kept this kind of a mainstream rock mainstream
sound
way, if you want,
right.
Sound. And with CoreLeoni, I always postponed this idea. I started this idea in 1999, and then I postponed it for a few years, and then I postponed it again for a few years. And last time was like 2010, when I decided, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then we were talking with Steve back then, and saying, listen, I'm gonna do that next. Defrosted, so that means the acoustic records. But before we're gonna start this, we're gonna take 2 years break, and I'm gonna do my CoreLeoni thing, right? Sadly enough, as everybody knows, Steve went for holiday in 2010 and never came back. So I had to postpone all this project, this idea which I had. Before we started to do this Defrosted 2, which we are doing, and we are just finished promoting with Gotthard, I told the guys, listen, I want to do this CoreLeoni one. And this was like 2017. So now Gotthard goes on, and we are in the studio at the moment recording the new record, which is pretty rocky. Actually, it's kind of very heavy rock, which is pretty cool. But I like the way to go back on and play those songs which I didn't play for a long time, like Fire Dance, or like from the first record, or Love for Money, like straight pure rock and roll, and blast it up from the guitar point of view with a great, powerful atmosphere with energy, lots of a nice, positive energy. And of course, Ronnie is playing an amazing part in this project. I mean, it's pulling every night an unbelievable show.
So, well, let me talk about Ronnie, because you of course worked with Steve, who I thought was one of the great unsung heroes of rock. His voice, you can't replace that voice. It is just absolutely perfect, and it doesn't matter if it's a Gotthard, if he was singing for Whitesnake, it's just a great voice. But Ronnie is bringing something to these songs. When you listen to Greatest Hits 1, and I've heard Part 2, when you hear his version of Make My Day or Mountain Mama and Fire Dance, like you said, you just go, yeah, that's it. That's right. Talk to me about working with him, discovering him, or not discovering him, but hearing of him and getting to partnership. And his voice, when you hear him sing these songs, does it give you chills? Does it make the hair stand up on your arm?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, the chin big time, actually. But I think there's few things that they play in the game together, right? First of all, he yes, he's a great singer. Yes, he's an unbelievable singer, and he's an unbelievable human being also. Which is like somehow we met each other, and then we discussed about this project, and he told me back then, say, hey, when you're ready to go for it, just give me a call, see what we could do. And then that's what I did, and we went on. But I think it's a very important thing. It's like all of a sudden, I used to work with Steve I worked with Steve for more than 25 years, I would say, and it was unbelievable. Then it happened what happened. I was lucky and we've been lucky with Gotthard to find Nick, which is also an amazing singer and a great singer. And for what Gotthard was doing it back then, it was the right choice. And all of a sudden, I meet Ronnie. And when I met Ronnie, and I went like, oh, this is exactly what I needed to do. What actually I wanted to do already in 1999. So therefore, I'm thinking, all of a sudden, you have there another Stradivari violin. You're working with a Stradivari, which was Steve, and all of a sudden you find another Stradivari, which is like, whoa, completely different, similar thing, and it's an unbelievable Stradivari too. So, and for what it is, also that's a very important part. And somehow I think our musical idea, our music point of view, but also the person, we met as a person, and all of a sudden we start talking about this and this and that, and this project, these songs, and the other song, what you think about these songs from other artists, and all the roots. It was like we were starting talking. We spent I don't know how many hours in talking. It was like, whoa, it was a new love story starts, just like fresh love, and as I said, on the music is unbelievable. You have an unbelievable talent, and it's an unbelievable performer. But as I said, it's like find a new Stradivari. All of a sudden, you guys, wow, this great instrument there with a soul, and and that's a fantastic thing. I'm blessed that I had the chance to, and I have the chance to work with those guys,
Well, you certainly lucked out with all three. Now, there has been, of course, as human nature wants, fans are comparing Nick and Ronnie and saying, well, maybe Ronnie should join Gotthard, but no. But is that something that you're thinking, or do you really think, no. There are two separate bands. They are going to stay two separate bands. And hey, fans, just chill out. Don't get into this nonsense. Nick is good for Gotthard, and Ronnie's good for this, and now you've got two instead of one.
Well, I know there's a lot of noise out there and blah 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 blah, but I think things they are the way they are at the moment, and what is going to be in the future, nobody knows. Who knows what happened? Maybe everything could happen,
right.
Or maybe nothing could happen. Maybe we could go on tour with almost two bands together, because if I look at the bands, the lineup is the same drummer behind the drum kit. Beside live, that at the moment we have two different drummers because Anna took a 1-year break. But Igor was already with Gotthard back then in '94, so you never know. Maybe we're going to do a big reunion, big family with with a big best of 3-hour show with songs from 1991 to 2019. Who knows? But I think that at the moment, what Gotthard is all about is great. The lineup is CoreLeoni is set to the way it is at the moment, and I think that the two things are two separate things. Which yes,
I agree.
They have a common point, which is like.
Well, you
great songs and me.
you. No, but so I like the idea. If you came out and did a set where, the early part of the band is presented in the first hour, and then the second part of the band with Nick is presented in the second hour, and then you finish off with both guys doing anytime, anywhere, and right. Yeah, I mean, as a fan. When you pay money and then you see an opening band that you don't care about and they're playing for 45 minutes of stuff you don't want to hear just until you get to the main act, this would be a great way to just give fans a lot for their money. And, the last 5 songs you get Ronnie and Nick doing Anytime, Anywhere, Lift Me Up.
Or whatever song, just it'll be fun. that would be great. And I think actually that would be, from my point of view, is also very important. It's like that's what music would be all about, just making people get together, and then having fun and, do the best thing for the audience and for your soul. And that would be awesome. And who knows, maybe we will do it. And we are on the way to find out what we could do somehow, just like that. Now, at the moment, there are 2 bands out there, and then Gotthard fans who decide to go and listen for the official set list of Gotthard today in 2019 or 20, or what would have been as close as what it was back then. And then see what the future is going to bring. But
I think it would be great.
All good.
I think it'd be great, and it would make a great double live album. So let me ask you about this. The Greatest Hits Part 1 and then CoreLeoni 2 is, of course, heavy on covering the Gotthard stuff. We know that. Is there a point where you see yourself with Ronnie making 10, 12, 14 new songs that are nothing to do with Gotthard, but these are 14 songs that you wrote, tomorrow, and you go, okay, this is a new band doing new material, no covers. Is that something that you want to get to?
Yeah, you see, if I look at what we did, Greatest Hits Part 1 at 1 song, Greatest Hits Part 2 or number 2 at 2 songs, we hope for the 3, we have 3 songs. And in fact, I think that Ronnie is very talented guy, and I heard some stuff, he played me some stuff that he wrote, and and I think, yeah, absolutely, yes, I think we are in sync, and we have to check out when is the right timing, and I really love to do something with him, absolutely. But as I said, step by step, we started somehow in a way to say, let's see what's going on, and now we are in the middle of a tornado. If you understand what I'm saying, like, we thought we'd go out and play a few gigs, and it's already number 2 knocking out on the front door, right? And time is running fast.
Time is running fast. Yeah. And what I understand is that in order to get 10 new songs, we're going to have to wait for CoreLeoni album number 10. That's right. Right? That's what it's going to be.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I don't know about. Maybe not. I hope not, actually, because I would really love to. Because we have lots of things in common which we have with Ronnie, and it's pretty cool because like every time we're jamming things, we're working together on things. There's some great stuff. There's stuff coming up also, on the musical side. And I think it's gonna come the right day on the right moment that we're gonna pull up something, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be great. And I believe because also the roots we have on the musical roots, they're very similar, and this is like really very interesting, very, very, very. And I'm keen to doing it, but as I said, I'm not the only one in the band. We're supposed to ask Mr. Romero too.
Right. Yeah, we'll ask him too what he's up to. So listen, I hope so. We've talked about this before, but I want to get to it again. Just you are one of my favorite bands that are over there in Switzerland. You don't get over to Montreal. You don't get over to North America. There's a UK band called Thunder, which I absolutely love. And again, same problem. My dream concert would be you two playing together down the street, but not going to happen anytime soon. What are some of the difficulties for you to get to North America? And is it a market that you want to get to? I mean, I know these bands, you go off to Japan and you go to, with Nick, I think you went to Australia and you do the Europe thing. But what is it about North America, and do you want to get here?
In fact, yes, I think it was everybody's dream, and I think it's still everybody's dream to go there, and especially I would love to play in Canada, because I have a bunch of Canadian friends, which they're living in Canada, and some they're still in Switzerland. But I used to play ice hockey, so I'm really, I'm really connected to this Canadian world, if you want to call it that way. But I don't know. I think it's like matter of, a lot of things goes on the promoter. The promoter maybe don't want to take the risk to get the band there because there's too many costs, and by the time the band needs to invest a lot of time, and if you're talking about North America and not Canada, which is like maybe, I don't know, how big is the scene and how many plays in all those huge town you have to, how much time you have to spend to say that to build up a little bit of a following following up for this for the fans. I think it takes a lot of time to get something going, right? So we would lose possibly some fans back in Europe, right? So therefore, you got promoted, and maybe things like, it's too high risk, unless maybe you have a festival, you go like, hey, let's get this band, whatever band is. But what I'm saying, there's already a festival which have few thousand people as audition and then audience, and that for sure would help. But as I said, I think there's also some cost. You flying a band, you have like five, 6 people. Then you have the engineer, they have this and that, and managers, and. So the cost is very high just to fly over.
Oh, I know. Listen, the last time
I think this.
I was just going to say, the last time Diamond Head came here with Brian Tatler, they had a little run in North America, and the first show was in Ottawa, and Brian was telling me that just to get to Ottawa and get the band and the couple of crew guys, they were already $20,000 in the hole before they even plugged into soundcheck. I mean,
but I think this is. But I think this is exactly what I think. This is one of the main core thing, and it's not because it's like the band don't want to play or the band cost, or they really cost. Just like we are living one side to the other of the planet, right? So just like if Montreal would be, or Toronto would be, or Los Angeles round the corner, I think a lot of bands would be there and playing for sure. Their ass off and having fun for a bunch of years. And I think the band, if it's flying over, is not charging for the fee. It's charging. You understand what I'm saying? They're really cost. I think that's the main
issue. It's money.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, cost. In fact, I believe that if it would be like a flying company, I don't know, Canadian Airways or whatever would pay already or sponsor all those flights, just the flights would be like, wow, 3/4 of the cost would be already gone.
Well, I tell you, if I win the lottery, I'm flying you all to Montreal to play a private concert. That's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Nice, I buy the beers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if I win the lottery, I might even pay for those. Let me quickly remind the folks here that you can find the band at facebook.com/CoreLeoni. They are also CoreLeoni on Twitter and CoreLeoni.com. And I will finish with this. You mentioned Gotthard is in the studio right now. What is sort of the plan? We've talked CoreLeoni, but let's just quickly get a Gotthard update. I mean, great band. You look back at all that stuff. Well, listen, Lip Service. I know you've heard this before, and I love G, and I love Open, and I love Home Run. But Lip Service is one of the best hard rock albums made anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter if it's an American band or a UK band. Lip Service is just a spectacular album.
Oh, thank you, man.
Point final.
Thank you for the compliment.
Well, it is. I mean, and if fans haven't heard it, they need to go buy it. I mean, it's just it's perfect. It's a perfect rock album. But where are we in terms of? So you're in the studio now. Is that? I guess that's 2020. It's going to be out. Is it sort of March or June? Is it November of 2020?
We are working now in the studio. Actually, we hope that the plan is like to be finished around end of October, because then I'm gonna go out and tour it with CoreLeoni, and then the album is gonna be released. I would say around February. So we're planning to start the Gotthard tour around April, May. We have the tour. That's a master plan, which I believe is very realistic plan. And then of course there's gonna be festival left, right, and who knows, maybe North America, overseas. That would be awesome. Once before I'm gonna get how we call pension. When you get old and you don't have to work anymore. How we gonna retire? Maybe before I'm gonna be retired, I have a chance to play in North America.
Wow. I'm going to work on it, because when you think of some of the great guitarists in the world, and you think, of course, of Eddie Van Halen stuff, and you think of Zakk Wylde, but I would put you right in there. I've heard the way you attack the instrument. I've heard the solos. You play for the song. You're not just you're just one of those, and it's a shame that all these rock fans in America or in Canada or North America, let's call it, or not all of them, but some of them aren't aware of you because they'll put Zakk Wylde on the poster on the wall. So, but Leo's just as good, maybe even better. No offense, Zakk. But
Thank you very much.
But you know,
Zakk is good. He's a great guitar player, Zakk Slash, all those guys, you know.
Yes, but you're in that conversation.
For my pictures.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're in the same conversation. So we got to get you here. Anyway, folks, do check
we have
out.
something in common. We have something in common. We play Les Paul and Marshalls. I think that's the trick.
And you're also tasteful. You play for the song. But folks, I'm looking for the date here. Oh, yes. September 27th, CoreLeoni 2 comes out. If you love Gotthard, you will love this. If you're not familiar with Gotthard, first of all, shame on you. And second of all, you will love this because it is a great rock record. And, there you go. Voila.
And by the way, CoreLeoni to Mr. Leoni singing for the first time in his career in a record. You know, we get this boom boom. We covered the boom boom from John Lee Hooker.
I saw.
And
yeah.
So that's the reason I'm singing there.
Yeah, you're doing boom boom. Yeah. So now that's the bonus pack or the bonus track on. Well, in fact, yeah, that's a great cover. Do you think? Here, I won't finish just yet. Do you think that at some point, or maybe the next one, it won't be Gotthard, quote unquote, covers, but you might do a full cover album where you pull out whatever Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss or Crazy Train by Ozzy, or do you want to see yourself doing that?
I don't know. I don't know. I have to check with my friends, my bandmate. But I think there's a lot of things could happen, you know. And one of the things I would love really to do is, like as you said before, or you asked before, if it's going to happen to work with Ronnie to write songs together. But that's one of the things I would love to do, because I think that's one of the main calls sooner or later to do.
That would be great. And
other songs, yeah. We're doing some soft live sometimes just for the fun of doing it, and it's great. You know, there's so many great music out there. We could get him and bring it back to the stage in our own way, of course. You know, with all respect, we're doing this. But I'm thinking that time will tell.
And I'm telling you, I would love to hear Ronnie's voice and your guitar on Crazy Train. I think it would be.
Oh, that would be awesome.
it would be a wet dream. It would be fantastic. But anyway, there you go.
Thank you.
As we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. And let's get
merci
you
à vous,
here.
monsieur.
Eh oui.
C'est un plaisir d'être votre, comment on dit, hospité. Your guest. Your guest.
Votre invité.
Exactement, c'est ça que je voulais dire.
Et voilà. Merci, Leo. Thank you so much. And you can always count on me for support. I love this band. I love what you do, and I will keep supporting it. And I'm thrilled by the fact that this is coming out.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Absolutely. Cheers. And I will send this out to you when it's available in about a week. Cheers.
Super cool. Cheers. Have a good day. Ciao.
Bye-bye now.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.
You're listening to Rock Talk with Mitch LaFon. Rock Talk.